Now that we have the view set up and rendered the way we want in CameraMatch, we now have to try to integrate this new part of the model into the existing photograph. The obvious problem here is that the new model is all sitting in front of the photograph, and there are elements in that photograph that should be in front of the model. And that's where the masking tools in CameraMatch come in. Let's go into the annotations, and I can select the CameraMatch mask tool, and let's go in and mask some things, and you'll see how this works. Basically what happens is when you draw a shape, it brings that background image forward in front of the model. So that will allow us to integrate that model into the photograph better. I'm going to delete that one. And the way I usually do this is to draw a larger mask object around the area I'm working so I can see the existing parts of the photo. Okay, so now I can see clearly where I need to trace to get just the image masked that I need. So let's create a mask. I'm going to zoom in here and draw, and I'm going to stay just inside the shape because the tool actually has an anti-aliasing feature that kind of blurs the edge, and we don't want to see the sky bleeding through. Try to be a little accurate here, but I don't want to take too much time. Okay. Alright, for now, I'm going to see what this looks like. Okay, so we've drawn that, but we still have this larger mask that we drew first. So let's delete the larger mask. And now you can see just the new mask. And so that you can see how that's blending in better. Now this part of the model here is jutting out a little bit, so we still need some adjustments there. I'm going to just use the reshape tool for that. And really I'm just going to cover all of that. Some of these can be deleted using the reshape tool. Okay. So that's our first mask. We still have some more to do. We could try to do one whole mask trying to get everything, or we can do it in pieces. If they overlap each other, they'll just blend right in with each other. So I'm going to start over on this side now. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to get too detailed here. I think you'll get the idea. Okay, and let's delete that. Okay. So there we are. Okay, there's quite a bit of masking to do. So let's start with the base, and then we'll get a column in there or so and take it from there. Okay, again, I'm just using a rough mask just to show me the size, the location of that base, and then I can draw a more accurate mask here. Okay, and then I'll delete the temporary mask. Alright, that's pretty good. Now actually I have this image prop here, and she's getting masked out a little, so I'm going to scoot this over. That looks better. Okay, and let's draw one column in. Do something like that, and again the masks can all just overlap one another, and they'll just blend in. So So here, let's see what that looks like when I delete the other mask. And that blends right in there, and now we have our column. So we can repeat this process for the other columns and until we get everything in there, and then we're good to go for the masking. So let's take a look at what that looks like when we get all the masking in. Let's take a look at the masks. First we'll just select everything. You can see the highlighting. We have one of the base here. All the columns are masked out. This group is one mask, and then here at the top some there. So now you can see here all the new stuff is much more integrated behind those elements, and looks pretty well. Now the one thing I haven't mentioned yet is the anti-aliasing. Right now it's set at 1, and that is to blur or blend in the edges with the model. If I set this to 0, you'll see the edges become much sharper against the model, and it doesn't blend in as well. So 1 just gives it just a little bit, or we can increase that, which is probably better to do. I'm going to go ahead and set all of these to 2 for now. Okay, and that just gives it a little bit more softness at the edges there. Okay, so that looks much better, and we have some things we'd like to get rid of in the photo, and that's another trick that the mask tool has, and that is cloning. So let's give it a try. I'm going to select the mask tool again, and let's just try it on a little chunk up here and get rid of the scaffolding. Okay, so we have a mask there. Didn't really do anything yet. Let's put it in clone mode and get the selection tool. We'll see that grip appear, and that allows us to shift that image, and you can see the dashed outline. When you drag over, you can see that outline of the image. It's actually pulling over to there, so you can get an idea of how it's working. Okay, and that looks pretty good. When I clone, I typically up the anti-aliasing quite a bit. Just play around with it until it suits your needs. In this case, it can be a little smaller maybe. And the scaffolding has disappeared. I'm going to nudge that over a little bit. Looks good to me. Okay, so let's try a little more. I can do the same thing, just repeating down here. Here with the clouds, it might get a little bit more involved, but still very doable. And I usually do it in smaller chunks so I can find areas that seem to blend well. That looks pretty good. Maybe raise it up just a touch. There. And again, that'll help take it away. Even the scaffolding around the columns can be done. This is going to be a little trickier because we have to deal with the texture of the columns and lining those up. So let's see what we can do here. Put that in clone mode, and we could try pulling some of this up here down, or maybe borrow the column next door, and certainly takes a little trial and error. And that's not too bad actually. So again, we could repeat that down these columns, and let's see what that might look like. So here it is with a few more masks in place using clone mode. And we've essentially gotten rid of that scaffolding. And it's just a matter of going through with different sections and pulling parts of the image you can forward. Okay, so it looks like we're pretty well done. The only tool I have not covered is the shadow tool. There's not a whole lot here that I can use that for, because there's no real new elements except for maybe this image prop here. We could add a shadow just to kind of help blend that in. So we could maybe simulate a little bit of a shadow there. Okay, so that's good for just kind of adding shadows where they just don't exist because of new parts of the model against the photograph. So I think we're done.